Welcome to TC Tiahui Talks. Tia Chucha Centro Cultural, located on Tataviam land in the northeast San Fernando Valley, is rooted in ancestral knowledge, culture, the arts, literacy, and social justice as a means to personal and communal transformation. It is a place where hearts and minds have united for change for over 19 years. Join us as we share the stories of personal transformation and our understanding of the world that unites us as a community. We must remember that another world has always been possible. Tiahui, a Nahuatl word for adelante, to move forward. Like a spiral, together we move towards a better future, cognizant of the resiliency we carry from our past.
Horrible.
It's the face that pops up in the movie.
I know. That's actually the face I hate.
I thought you hated her face.
I completely forgot about him. You know, I had to walk out of the theater while I was watching The Exorcist.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Actually, one of the new scenes, like when
she's going down the stairs?
Oh my god, I had to leave the theater. I had to walk out and I stood outside for like 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Well,
have you seen that scene where she walks backwards? I mean, I can watch it now, but it was on the big screen and it was too much.
Oh wow. Okay, you ready?
Wait. Give me
some conversations. We should probably save it for the.
Well, Melissa, should I take it off if you really try?
I'm gonna try not to look at you. It's okay, let it be.
It's funny. It's like an eye popping out.
Oh my god.
That's good.
Oh.
I'm just gonna sage myself after this.
Thank you all for joining Tiahui Talks. We have TC staff here ready to share their Halloween spirit with everybody, with the world. So first, can you all describe what you have in your background, and if you have a costume on, what it is, what you're wearing, kind of thing, and your gender pronouns. So I'll just go first, just because I'm talking. So my name is Rebecca. My gender pronouns are she, her, hers, and right now I have some reddish, brownish lipstick on. I have curly hair. I have a gray, skirt thingy on. I'm sitting in Tia Chucha, so there's a little mural behind me, and then there is a little, pumpkin jack-o'-lantern with glasses on right next to me. So I'm gonna pass it to Andrea. Thanks.
Hi, thank you. So I'm wearing an orange shirt, and then I have disco ball lanterns. Are these called lanterns? Like little disco balls hanging on my neck. I was gonna be a disco girl. And then I have a virtual background, and it's Captain Howdy, which I had to look up on Google because I just knew he was a creepy guy from The Exorcist. So he's creeping up in my background. All right, I'll pass it on to Michael.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Centeno. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I am currently wearing a red shirt, no costume accessories, unfortunately, and I have the Exorcist as my background. It's actually the cover art with the light shining through the window. So I'm gonna pass it to Melissa.
Hey everyone, my name is Melissa San Vicente. Pronouns ella, she, her. And I am currently wearing my Disney Minnie Mouse ears, but they're a themed haunted mansion, purple with the background of the walls of the haunted mansion, a green bow, and a little gargoyle that you see kind of like on the chains as you're about to get on the ride. So yeah. And I actually currently have no background, and I have a leopard. I have a kind of like a cheetah blouse on. So I'll pass it on to Luz.
Hi, everybody. My name is Luz Rodriguez. I go by she, her. My pronouns are she, her. And I am wearing, I'm wearing a dress, a black dress with a square neck black dress. And I'm wearing glasses, kind of like a brown kind of lipstick. And I'm wearing ears. They're handmade, actually. Shout out to Gigi and Natalia Hernandez, who worked on these a few years back. They have like marigolds, and it's kind of hard because I have a background as well. Marigolds, a couple of like little like pretty roses, and right behind there's like the little Minnie Mouse ears. And then behind me, I have a screenshot of the 1922 Nosferatu movie, which was one of the first movies that I remember watching as a kid, and fully being like, wow, this was a 1920s movie. Wow. But yeah, so it's Nosferatu kind of creeping behind me. And then I pass it down to Karen.
Hi, everybody. My name is Karen. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm wearing a mustard-colored shirt and a mask with sunflowers on it. I have short, kind of wavy hair, but it's not wavy today. And I'm wearing blue glasses. And my background is Edward Scissorhands. It has, you can see like the mountain and his house on top. And mine's a little bit more cheerful than the other backgrounds. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. So today we're gonna talk about getting in the Halloween spooky spirit, like how we like to do at DC. Does anybody want to start with some kind of like little bit of herstory of Halloween? Anybody?
Yeah, I have fun facts. So I know, well, I think one of the things that I was like kind of like interested was the whole idea of like even trick-or-treating. So I had looked up that I think, what was it, in the 1920s, a lot of folks, I guess trick-or-treating was like and not even trick-or-treating, tricks was like such a huge thing where it got to the point where vandalism was like hardcore. And it was just like really bad. And like, and this is in America, where I guess it got to the point where even in like during the Great Depression, it was so bad because folks would start fires, specifically like teens and like adolescent, like youth were really creating havoc. And so this whole idea of trying to create this holiday where it would distract youth from wanting to burn down things or like hurt people. They started doing parties and like a lot of like these like costume parties kind of thing and like contests. So it was kind of distracting folks and focusing them on that. But the other thing was bribing youth. So the way the families in the neighborhood were bribing them was like preparing sweets and like candy apple and pretty much saying, hey, don't do any tricks at my house. Don't do any tricks with me in here. I'm going to give you a candy apple if you do it. So it kind of was one of those things where now the kids were like, oh, so going to house, if people would give them candy, that was like a way, or not even candy, but at the time it was like pastries or like candy apples. They were kind of like saying, okay, I'm not gonna do anything bad to your house. So it's kind of an interesting kind of like start off, and even though it's like, I guess it goes back all the way to like very like Celtic times, the idea like the holiday itself. And there's like a lot of little things that I found, but I was like, wow, very interesting. Costumes too, just historically like costumes coming into like a huge thing during that time too.
Yeah. Costume thing, like how does that evolve, like change over time? Because it seems like costumes today, maybe sometimes, I imagine they're probably more scary back in those days, were they? Or what do you think?
You know, I think I was kind of reading, or I don't know where I read it, regarding that at one point the whole concept of costumes was that that there was like this belief that kind of like spirits and I guess, I don't know, I want to say just spirits, maybe monsters or whatnot, like we're kind of roaming, and that at one point there was like wearing a costume was like a way of protection, so that they wouldn't, you know, I don't know, bring bad or whatnot to your family, to your house, hence to then also why you would put pumpkins. So at one point, kind of like, you know, this is not a house to hit up or go somewhere else. And that's like the concept of costumes. I don't know if anybody else knows a little bit more about that.
I don't know too much history about costumes, but I do know that they seemed scarier back then to us now, because I think that was unintentional. They were wearing like potato sacks on their head, and I think now we see movies with like kids wearing that, or people, I forget what movie did that, where they had like sacks on their head. But it was just like regular household stuff that they had as costumes, and it was kind of just for everyone. It's not as intricate as it is now. I feel like, in a way, I feel like now we're seeing costumes be more creative and accessible. You can make it out of paper, cardboard, and stuff. But it got pretty like intricate with, like, you know, Halloween stores started popping up, and they started getting really like, I guess, inaccessible for some folks too. Like I remember growing up and always wanting to buy a costume and not being able to, because it was like $40 for a freaking costume. So back then it was just like household stuff, which looks creepy on a little kid in a picture, like a black and white picture. And it's like, yeah, that's from my understanding. I don't know if anyone else has a background or knows any fun facts on that.
I was going to just add on from what you mentioned, Andrea, because going back to what I said about the 1920s and 30s and kids being kind of intense during that time, because they're like, there was nothing else to do. That's when, and I guess it also like kind of relates to like the Industrial Revolution kind of thing, where things could now be mass produced. There was a few companies that started noticing like this holiday is going to go big, so they started providing like ways for folks to buy like paper made costumes. So you see, like, actually there's a lot of like little clippings where you could see folks with these really intricate, but they were all made out of paper. Although, yeah, they were really cool because now everybody had like a way of being very creative, but you know, now they were flammable too, so folks were catching fire. So in the 1930s, that's when it changed, because some of the, like Sears started like actually being able to sell like specific types of costumes that were well made, so folks would order them and get them delivered, and they would have like a full costume. And that's kind of like where we now see mass production kind of stuff. But before that, before the 20s, you're right, like a lot of folks I think would make paper mache masks or like burlap sacks or something, just because it's like that's what was available.
That's super interesting. What y'all brought up about like people having to make their own. It seems to me that like that's where it's interesting when we have our little Halloween costume contest now at TC. I don't know if this has been a thing before the last couple years, but it's interesting to see people's creativity and using what they have at home. So I don't know if anybody wants to talk about what we do at TC, but like maybe we can also talk about that. Why do we do that?
We take Halloween very seriously at Tia Chucha's. And I want to say that. No, we never really, I don't think we ever really did a costume contest like how we're doing it now, but maybe Andrea, you could talk about it. I feel like you've been the one that's really been pushing us to get into all the holiday spirit, more so Halloween. I think people I think in general, all the staff right now like really enjoys it. So maybe Andrea, you could talk about, since you're the rule master over there.
Oh man, don't call me that. Yeah, I mean, my first year at TC, I remember asking you guys what we were gonna do for Halloween, and nothing was really planned, like no programming or anything like that. And I've always liked dressing up, even in college when people don't really do that anymore. Or at least there's a few people, but I'm just like, I don't know, I've always had a lot of fun with it, especially being older and being able to like decide what I'm gonna be, and also like being able to make it and just like having that freedom. So I was excited to ask you guys to see if you guys were up for it, and most of you guys were, and some of you guys were hesitant, but that I remember that first contest or that first Halloween that Melissa was like rushing to like the 99-cent store to like make her costume makeup for it too. I think Rosalia had as well. But yeah, that was fun. That's I just really wanted to bring that spirit in, and I don't know, after that year it became a big thing. I think, Michael, you have always gone all out with your family, right? So you already had a costume planned. And I don't know, I don't remember how the idea of taking a picture came up, but yeah, just like contests are fun. And I mean, there's rules because I know everyone here, we're smart. And you guys, like, for example, Michael has a whole family that he coordinates his costume with. So I'm like, there has to be some rules. We can't have pets or other family members involved because like I don't have that, so no fair. So I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I think like many things, right, that happen at the institutions, it just evolves organically. But I think since having our son, I definitely have enjoyed making his costumes and just making our family themed costumes. I don't think I enjoyed it probably as much before. I've always enjoyed, like growing up, we always tried to make our own costumes. We never bought costumes, you know. It's always like, how can you get creative and try to come up with your costumes? You know, my mom was really good at that, so she really pushed that on us, and I think that's where we get it from. And then having Diego, like he actually really enjoys dressing up, so it's a big deal for him. So I really take it's really fun to kind of come up with those ideas and try to figure out how to go about making the costumes. So yeah, I think we just, you know, everybody started to get in, and I think last year was really awesome because everybody took it to a whole nother level. They took it really seriously, and it was a great time, just seeing how much hard work everybody put into their costumes. And if you go back and you look on our Instagram, just seeing the photos from last year, it was really fun. So I'm excited for this year.
I just want to add, like, I agree with how it's crazy how, like, going from the first year we did it to the second year, how much that changed. Everyone was on board this time, and everyone was, like, thinking about it ahead of time. And it was intense, and I think we were all, like, caught by surprise or taken aback when Karina came, who's not here in this meeting today, but she came through with a really good costume, and it got to people's hearts because it was a nostalgic costume. Does anyone remember the robot's name from the
Rosie.
Jetsons? Rosie, yeah, that was such a great costume. I'm like, man, I'm done. I don't qualify anymore.
Well, I think it's funny because I think everybody was working on their costumes maybe a week before. I think Karina even said she was working on it the day before, a couple of days before. But now there's been messages going around. People have already started, or at least like started to gather the materials a month ahead of time. So it's been taken to a whole nother level this year. So I'm excited to see what comes out.
I did want to add that, you know, last time everybody was being so secretive about their costumes that, I mean, at one point, the moment that you kind of make it a competition, it just like really inspired that to the point where it was hard to get somebody's costume idea out of them. But I do think that's what made it fun as well.
And I mean, there's not a lot at stake. I mean, we have a prize, so we do have a small cash prize we all add to little money bucket, as we call it, to enter the competition. So like $5, whoever wants to participate. So it's a small cash prize, but this year we upped it up a little bit, upped up the notch, and TC is gonna buy us lunch, or the winner lunch. So that's a really great prize. But I think most of all, it's just fun competing with each other sometimes. And I don't think we're competitive people, really. Like at least I don't get that vibe when we're working together. But this is the only time in the year when we get to be like that, and it's okay.
I don't know. I think we got a lot of competitive people here. I am, but yeah. So that's cool. So how's your what's it called? What was something that I guess somebody maybe that helped you get inspired to be creative and innovative with maybe like a Halloween costume when you were growing up? Does anybody have anybody that kind of inspired them? Or what's your inspiration for even making a costume? The process.
I'll go. Like, man, I'm talking too much, but I mean, like I mentioned, growing up, we didn't really buy costumes either. They were just too expensive for us. But my mom is a really talented seamstress, so she's always put our costumes together. Even though she's not a big fan of Halloween, she's never really liked it. But I remember the earliest Halloween I remember slightly is one where I was Mulan, and she just put a bunch of fabric together, and I remember it being beautiful, but I don't know, I was like a kid, less than 6 years old, I think. I don't know. And so she's made me a Mulan costume. She's made me like a devil costume, like a little devil, a witch and a vampire. And these costumes were so simple. They'd be like, you know, like a witch would be like just something like a dress with no form that she'd put together, and I would buy the hat at the 99-cent store. And I've been a clown. So my mom's really creative, and she's always, I guess, supported that, like make it your own, like DIY kind of thing. And I guess I'm inspired by that. And then also now older, I feel like I could just make things now. So I get inspired, I guess, by anyone, the internet. I'm like, I see a cool idea. I'm like, oh, we can make that. And then I always think like bigger is sometimes always better. So this year I'm going big and I'm building. Last year it kind of started, but yeah. And I'm really into like dorky costumes. Like that's just my thing. I don't know. So I feel like that wins people's hearts sometimes.
The French toast one was really cute.
Thank you.
And then what was the, oh yeah, the cotton candy, that was really cute too. Yeah. I remember my grandma would make, I guess I would just, because my brothers grew up with her more, so I remember seeing pictures of them like getting some homemade costume, and she liked to sew too. And it would be like, so it kind of reminded, it was like a creepy clown kind of costume. So it's like little like 7-year-old kids with like clown stuff on, but she would be really creative in making her own, like making the kids costumes. So I think that my inspiration is a lot out of my grandma, like how she can make things out of anything. So yeah. Anybody else?
I was going to say too, I think like Andrea mentioned, my mom too, she's a seamstress. So I from when I can remember, it's for us, it was so much easier for her to create things for us and less expensive since she had the hand. I remember once her making me into a nurse. I think she also like making a cute nurse outfit, as well as like my brother. I remember she made this like awesome Ninja Turtles like shell and everything, and I remember it was so cool because I was just like, man, that's a cool costume. And she was also so like excited to just have this, like, I think once my brother decided to be a superhero, but he made it himself. So it was a kind of a crazy thing he created. And I remember her just being kind of like, yeah, go ahead, do it. And so I feel like it's nice to see that. And I think like having that inspiration from her, kind of having that, like, you could create what you want to be during that time. Now when I do it, I like to kind of like just do stuff that I like. I'm usually go like I try to find stuff that I feel like are cute or something nostalgic that I find nostalgic, like movies or something referencing that, and I kind of go with that. Or, you know, I think one year I dressed up as like an actual 1920s like person would wear for Halloween, and so I reconstructed an outfit I saw like on Etsy, like an old 1920s like outfit somebody would wear, and I wore that. Actually wore it for a reenactment for a Halloween during that time. But I was excited to create that, and I even made a little outfit for my dog too. So she and I were like dressed somewhat the same. But so it's fun kind of coming up with creative ideas on how to do it. I like creating stuff too. So
Yeah, thank you all for sharing. I think growing up, I feel like I had a lot of hand-me-down Halloween costumes. Um, like I didn't really get to pick what I was gonna be, but I always had fun with it. And I think for me, making costumes started maybe like 4 years ago. So as an adult already. And I just had fun. I have a young brother. He's 8. He was 8, I think, at the time when I first started making costumes. So I enjoy making costumes with him and for him. So, and I always think, like Andrea said, like, oh, I can make that. I can fix that. And that's always it's more fun for me.
You know, it was the same for me. I actually have memories of always having to wear what my sister was, sometimes the year before. So I remember being a witch, you know, pretty often because that's what was available. Um, You know, I can't actually remember other costumes. I actually remember in middle school, it wasn't even a costume, but I tried to dress up all goth, right? And all in black. But the most hilarious part that I think about is that I didn't have black shoes. So I had to wear my white Nikes. And I thought that was kind of, every time I look at that middle school picture, it's funny. Um, but yeah, I think I think I've always enjoyed Halloween and, you know, horror and whatnot, anything related to Halloween, but it really wasn't until the DC, you know, costume and whatnot kind of started. And even then, the first year, I really didn't even have a costume, which is hence to then why Andrea was mentioning that I was running to the 99-cent store, since I had my Minnie Mouse ears. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be a mouse. But you know what, I really stepped it up with the Ursula last year, and it's gonna be on this year too. So yeah, it's fun.
I love how we last year also talking about stepping it up. I think we took the whole day to just like do this Halloween costume photo shoot, which was really cool too. I feel like that's important in a work environment. I just want to put that out there, to have like days where you're, I guess, bonding with your coworkers. So, and I think that's really special, and it made it a really nice, fun day. I don't know how you guys felt, but that's how I felt.
I felt like elementary school, you know, on Halloween. Like we had a potluck, we had a bunch of food, costumes, photos. It's just it's a little sad talking about it now that it's, we're in a pandemic, you know. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You even recruited the mailman to take some pictures. That was fun. The photo shoot was really fun.
That was the first year. Y'all made so much fun. You guys made fun of me for doing that. I was just so excited about Halloween, and I asked the mailman if he would like to take a picture with a pumpkin hat that we had. But I was thinking about the gram. I was thinking, well, this is good content. He's like well, I guess not our friend. Almost there. He likes us. He knows us. He says hi. So I'm like, let's include him in our Halloween celebrations.
Shout out to the mailman.
No, shout out to
Who doesn't wear a mask?
Oh, oh.
No.
Oh, I don't know. Dang it. What, bro?
I hope he's listening.
Oh,
He knows to wear a mask now when he comes into DC. He knows.
Yeah. So we're strolling down Halloween Lane. So I know that many of us here are movie fans. So I was hoping to hear what's your top spooky Halloween movies or music.
Nightmare Before Christmas inspired costumes in our competition, but I also, right, you told us to think about our favorite horror films. I think about Lost Boys, the 80s Lost Boys movie. I think that's so good. It's so good. It was just I just really like the way they put that together, right? The music and just the way the vampires kind of looked, right? And isn't it in Santa Cruz too? So that's fun. And I actually really think about Donnie Darko. I don't know. I'd say that it's kind of like a Halloween kind of like flick, but I love Donnie Darko and the whole concept of time travel and whatnot. So yeah, I would say those are one of my, there's kind of like three top kind of like Halloween horror film inspired.
I forgot to think of ahead of time, but the movies that pop out in this for me is The Shining. I think that was a creepy movie. And El Orfanato, which are both ghost kind of stories. So I was always tended to be more scared of those ghosts for some reason. But yeah, those are like two movies, two of my top movies. And then music, growing up, we had Michael Jackson's, Thriller, that whole music video movie. But yeah, I don't know how I can feel about that now, but that's what I grew up with.
I think for me, definitely Nightmare Before Christmas is always a must. Diego, my son, really likes that movie a lot too, so we watch that every year, almost all year, not just on Halloween, but through Christmas. Another one I always like to watch is like Prince of Darkness, which is like an 80s John Carpenter one. I enjoy watching that during the Halloween. Ghostbusters. Yeah, I guess maybe more like the 80s older films. I don't know, recently. The Shining is a good one. I haven't watched that one in a while. I think I'll watch that this month. I love just watching movies during this time, Halloween movies. Yeah, that's all I could think of right now, I think, in terms of some films, Halloween-themed films. I don't really like gory films, so I like more like supernatural thrillers. Anything with like ghosts, demons, all that stuff is good. I don't like too much gore. But yeah.
So for me, top three. Actually, one of them was definitely Lost Boys. I love that movie as well. The other one's Hocus Pocus. I love watching that movie all the time for Halloween. It's one of my favorite fun, to watch, creepy but still fun. And I remember as a kid watching it and being like, oh my god, but they're so funny, they're so great, these witches, these three sisters.
How do you think is appropriate to watch that movie? How do you feel?
I was little. I remember when I watched it, I was pretty young, and I don't think. It's actually not very appropriate for. thinking back, some of the things that were referenced in there, it's kind of not appropriate for little ones, but I don't think you would get it. It goes over your head.
Yeah, that definitely goes over. I love that movie. I forgot to say that one.
Inappropriate? I also saw it really young, and I don't remember it being inappropriate.
I think when you watch it as an adult, you catch certain scenes that you're like, oh, like there's a scene with I forget Sarah Jessica Parker's character, but she's on the bus driver's lap. And it's just, there's a couple things that he says and you're like, oh, and I don't remember that when I was a kid. Totally didn't even realize that. I was more like concerned that they ran over the cat. Okay.
Yeah, that was sad, yeah. But then he...
But,
sorry, we just love that movie, huh?
No, I love that. It's, so Hocus Pocus, of course Nosferatu, but actually before that I was going to mention, I wrote it down too. Bram Stoker's Dracula. That's one of the ones that I love. Winona Ryder and just Keanu Reeves. It was just like so well done. Love it. And yeah, but and
all because of Keanu Reeves, really. No, I'm just joking.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, Gary Oldman. He's so good as Dracula. So that's probably my top 3 movie. I guess I said kind of 4 because I did chime in on one, but I would definitely usually watch it during this time. I usually watch those. And then like one of the songs that I love listening when I was a kid all the time, and it's in Español, Lobo Hombre en París. Have you guys remember that song?
Yeah, that's a good one.
And always Monster Mash though. Monster Mash también. It's a classic. It's like any party you go to, they're always playing that. But yeah, La Unión, Lobo en París. It's like, but yeah, that's my picks.
Yeah, I actually recently watched Hocus Pocus again with my younger brother, and it didn't catch his attention, but I definitely caught on to some things I didn't notice before. Y'all already said 2 of the movies that I had on my list, The Shining and Nightmare Before Christmas. I had another movie I wrote down and I scribbled it. Now I can't find what I wrote down. But if it comes back to me, I'll let you all know. But I watched The Conjuring a lot with another one of my brothers. He likes that movie a lot, and he would be playing it in the background. I don't know if you all have a show that you play in the background when you do things. For him, it was The Conjuring. So I watched that a lot.
Wow.
How old is your little brother?
Oh, that one's 20 now.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, the one that you watch Hocus Pocus.
Oh, he's 10 now.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just in this mode. Like, I'm also trying to watch like videos with my son, so it's like trying to figure out there's a lot of stuff that's not appropriate that you realize that's after.
Yeah.
So we screened. I started watching Beetlejuice because he wanted to watch it because one of his cousins watched it, and I was like, oh yeah, you can't watch that one. It was like too much.
Is it scary? Or I've actually never seen Beetlejuice.
Wow.
There used to be a cartoon too.
Yeah, that's what Wendy was saying. They show him the cartoon instead.
Yeah. It seems like...
Why is it too much?
I mean, it's not scary. I don't think it's scary. But Mike, if you can elaborate, I don't think it's scary. But
no, well, I think he's still little. He's 6, so I think it's too scary. But then there's like, just other stuff that's kind of like they don't show them dying, but they're alluding to them dying. So then it's like, and then like they're like the scary like faces that they do. I think he might get scared with that.
I know there's some inappropriate.
Yeah, that stuff, like you said, it'll fly over their head. Like they won't get that yet. So I'm less concerned about that, but more of the other stuff.
I'm curious. 2 of you have The Exorcist on your screens. I recall seeing The Exorcist probably a little too early. I don't think that my parents really thought about what type of effect that would have on their kids. But it's not one of my top films, but it definitely is one of the films that kind of like got to my core a little bit. And even now, I mean, as Andrea has that background it kind of, yeah, it just kind of activates like a little fear in me. And I feel like that movie is like, so possession movies are really scary to me. I mean, the whole concept of possession just overall is just really scary. And I think The Exorcist was like the first film that fully brought that to life. It's, yeah. You know, I heard a lot of creepy things happen on that set too, but you know.
Damn, you know, yeah. Now that you bring that up, I didn't watch it till later. I didn't watch it that young, so when I did watch it, I didn't feel like it was that scary. But Poltergeist, that's another favorite. I really enjoyed Poltergeist, and that one, there's a lot of stuff supposedly, people died and like people involved with that film. There's actually a documentary on it on Shudder, about like all these films that people have died to and like kind of like urban legends tied to the films. I forget the name. I'll look it up right now. But I didn't mention Hereditary. I feel like that film and Ari Aster, that dude, that director, man, that like that film messed me up for a while. So I want to watch it again, but like it was really good. Like I feel like that dude's on another. Even Midsommar, I know it wasn't. I feel like it was really good, but it was just so different. People didn't like it, but I enjoy his film.
Oh my God, yeah, Hereditary is one that did its job, because you know these movies are supposed to scare you, and that one I wouldn't watch again because it was just so disturbing for me. That one. Movies, I like Get Out. I think that was a good scary movie. Where's that new Korean movie? I can't remember it right now. What is it called again?
Are you talking about Parasite?
Parasite, yeah. Those are good ones too.
Hey, Korean zombie films are my thing right now. Actually, Train to Busan is really good if y'all ever get a chance to watch it.
I forgot about Get Out. Get Out was really good.
Get Out and
really good.
What's it called? Those movies are really good. Us. There's another one. I think Sorry to Bother You was very like strange and even maybe not as Halloweeny spooky, but it was it was like I don't know if y'all saw that, but that was
really good. I really liked that one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
One of my favorite movies is Psycho. I saw it older already, and I don't know why I've always been hesitant to watch older movies. I don't know why. I've never like been into watching a black and white film because it's in black and white. I'm just biased that way, but I've come to see that they're really cool. Like Luz has recommended a few to me, and then like I said, I really like Psycho. I think it was really interesting and cringy at points as well. And it was really cool around, I think it was 2 years ago that we went to Universal Studios during the Fright Fest. Is that what it's called? And they have the house there, and we took a picture with the Bates. It was really cool. Psycho, and then Young Frankenstein. Have you guys seen that movie? It's such a great movie. It's like it's like a comedy Frankenstein movie. And that's another black and white film. And then I guess The Exorcist too. I also saw it when I was older. Well, not that much older. I was in my teens, like maybe 16 or 15. But it was always talked about, and the image of the Exorcist, like of the little girl's face all cut up was everywhere, and it was something that like pop-up images and like games on the internet or so I had seen it before, and I was always really scared of it. And so my cousins put it on one time, and I was finally gonna watch it, but I was watching it like with a pillow over my face the whole time and my hands on my face. So I think it just remained as this scary movie. And then I remember again watching it a second time in college, but I fell asleep because I decided to close my eyes during some parts because I didn't want to see it. And so I don't know if I've truly, fully let myself experience that movie, but I've always thought it was really scary. And then, I don't know if you guys ever watched Halloween Town, but that's another good feel good Halloween movie, along with Hocus Pocus. And yeah. And I think Hereditary and The Exorcist are so scary, like Melissa said, because they, like, possessions are kind of something that's, like monsters and stuff, like we know, like, okay, that's not real, but like exorcisms and spirits and stuff, that's something that some people do experience, right? And even ourselves, I haven't personally experienced anything paranormal like that, but I know people who have, and it's really creepy because it's like, okay, we know it's happened before. So I think that's why they scare me the most, those kind of movies. Yeah. And I love Hereditary. I've seen it like many times.
Oh my God, you've seen that a lot of times? I cannot.
Yeah, I mean, it's gruesome, and it also messes me up like at night, like I think about it, but it's so good. It is so good. There's so much things to like unpack in the movie, and a lot of things to think about, like what it meant towards the end. Also, I feel like I'm still trying to understand what the movie was getting at right there towards the end of the movie. It's so good.
No, y'all, I think it's getting time that somebody needs to share some kind of quick, spooky memory. Does anybody have anything? Like a little spooky memory? Story time. Nobody? Oh, okay. Well, I have an alien story, but it's not that scary. I mean, I guess it could be scary. I think aliens, I don't know. I used to be scared of that, like getting abducted. So those are my spooky movies I would be scared a little bit of, were the alien stuff. But one time my brother was outside and he was living in LA and we were living in Victorville. And he was calling us and he's like, look outside. And then, and outside in the sky, there was some kind of gray, like disc thing. And I saw it. My grandparents were visiting us, and they saw it. My parents, so my brother was in a totally different place, and then there was this alien thing, like ship in the sky. So this happened probably when I was maybe like 10 or so. But I don't know. Do y'all have anything like that happen to y'all? And then it just disappeared. But yeah. And I guess that's why I might be a little bit scared of alien stuff. But how about you? Nobody has some spooky tale? No.
I was always scared of aliens, but I haven't seen any. But I want to. I'm down.
You want to?
Yeah.
Oh.
I want to believe.
You mean like you want to be abducted?
No, that's not that.
I don't want to be abducted.
Oh my God, he didn't say
You
that.
just want to see them. A part of me is like, if you're seeing aliens, that's probably not a good thing.
Oh no, I'm good with seeing like the ship. Like
You're like the ship.
The ship, whatever it is. Don't you think like if you were to see an alien, you probably like a real one, you would probably, your mind wouldn't like comprehend what you're seeing. You would freak out. No.
I mean, that's if you think they look different to us, really.
They can be among us like in Men in Black.
Right? Yeah, Men in Black.
Yeah, you guys reminded me of a great scary movie, I think, because of the aliens. Scary Movie 3 was such a good movie. I loved it. And it has aliens in it. It's Scary Movie 3, right? Where they mix like the ring and the aliens. I don't know from what movie they're making fun of, but I really like that.
Oh, what's that movie with Mel Gibson?
Signs.
Signs, that's a good one too.
That's
probably making fun of that. Signs and AI. But those scary movies kind of ruin scary movies for me, because then I would think about the scary movie and I would think, oh my God, this is so funny. Oh, yeah, but those are good ones.
Well, Scary Movie 3, I also saw it younger. I didn't grow up watching a lot of scary movies, like at a really young age. It was till I was like in my teens. But Scary Movie 3 was scary to me because of the girl from The Ring. Like, she looks really creepy in that film too. So I think they're funny movies, but they also scared me, which is kind of silly. But yeah, I only have I don't even think I have like full scary stories. I just I feel like my whole family in Mexico always has scary or paranormal stories, and I feel like that's usually our experience at our tias and tios or grandparents, all from Mexico. Mexico's haunted. All the scary stuff happens there, but I've heard quite a few stories of like things happening to people because they're trying to like find someone's buried money in someone's land, and it's not their money, and so like bad things happen to them or things appear to them. So I'm glad I don't see that.
Yeah, we don't mess with that. Yeah, that's true though. I feel like our families have really good, not like just, and then the way like people story tell, I think is adds to it, because you know your audience has to be like screaming at the right point or like doing that little like jump and stuff. So yeah, those stories are really you know, I love hearing those kind of stories too.
On a side note, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I just thought about the alien thing. I recently rewatched it, and I was like, oh, that sounds like, you know, which movie I'm referring to, you know, guys? But this whole idea of hidden people, alien hidden people within our society is kind of
oh yeah, that sounds like something I would like to watch. I'm writing down all these movies I haven't watched yet. I like the Planet of the Apes movies, those old school ones. Those I think are creepy. I don't know, because that reminded me of that.
You know, I want to throw out the Sixth Sense. You know, the Sixth Sense hasn't been mentioned, but it's really creepy, you know. So.
Yeah, that was another good one. All right.
There's a movie called Another World or Another Earth, I think. One of those two. It's not scary, but I feel like it might relate to like how we think of aliens maybe. And I think I saw the movie a long time ago, but it basically questions like there being a parallel world, and so there's another you in a different world, so that it's like an alien basically.
That sounds interesting.
And it's kind of trippy to think about. Just thinking about the question that Melissa asked, I think it was you. Like, it depends how we view aliens, like. And I feel like if we saw another one of ourselves, like, I don't know if we would freak out as much as we would be confused and curious to learn more. Yeah.
Okay, y'all. So maybe we should wrap up this conversation. Unless you all have any spooky tips to wrap it up, or any words of advice for getting creative, being in your imagination, to doing your own costume or thinking about your own costume, and then maybe, yeah, you can wrap it up.
My pro tip is animating things that aren't supposed to be animated. So like you can pick anything and make it into a costume, and it's going to be really random but really cool. Like if I wanted to be a nopal, then I could pretty much build it and put it on me and walk, and I'd be a walking nopal. So like, yeah, so take anything that you can think of. My favorites are thinking of nouns like things, and then making it into a full body thing and making it walk.
You know, I would actually say, I mean, I realize that a lot of my costumes, I'm always recycling things. And I think especially when it comes to like different clothes or different things to wear, I'm actually, you know, I have my costume this year, and I'm actually using something that I had from my last costume, or like two different things. I'm all about recycling things. So that would be a tip.
Yeah, I'd second that. Thrifting, or going to like the dollar store, and cardboard and duct tape can go a long way for a costume.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of creative people out there. I didn't mention that. I think one of the things was, you know, starting to go to Comic-Con and seeing all the people that do their costumes there was really inspiring. I don't think I've ever really, well, a couple times, but not really made my costumes for there, just because it's a lot of walking, so it's not practical. You have to kind of spend it if you're gonna do that. I feel you have to spend the day knowing that you're gonna go dress up and just go for that. But um, if you just like Google and look at people's costumes and ideas, there's just a lot of stuff online that you can find. Challenge yourself to creative ways of using materials, cardboard, duct tape, like you said, will go a long way. Thrift stores are really good. Swap meet, a lot of good material and things you can get at the swap meet for cheap. That could a lot of our costumes over the years we gotten everything at the swap meet. So yeah, just be creative in that way.
Yeah. Going off the Comic-Con stuff, they have a lot of stuff now at the store that's tailored just for making Comic-Con kind of costumes, like the right foam, the right glue kind of thing. Just like, yeah, so I'm gonna one day go to Comic-Con because I do want to make some characters that are like from video games and stuff or movies. Yeah. But yeah, just let your imagination, I guess sometimes I think you have to you can be able to share your ideas with certain people, because if you share it with other people, sometimes they'll shut it down. So don't share your ideas with not y'all, because I'm in competition with y'all. So this is why I keep my Halloween costumes a secret. But like, when you're talking to your family, sometimes there might be somebody be like, you can't do that. So just make sure you are with people that you can share your ideas with, that's not gonna like try to shut down your little imagination rainbow going on. So
don't share your ideas with Michael and Karina. Just putting it out there. Don't share it with them. We can share it with each other, just not them.
It's I think it's less about the competition of sharing your idea. I think it's more about you kind of take a lot of pride in the work that you're doing, so you kind of want people to see. Like you could tell a person, "Oh, I'm gonna dress up as this," but it's not. It's gonna give them a certain like preconceived notion of what that's supposed to look like, as opposed to like when you come in, you're like, "Oh, okay." Like then So it's part of it is just like for people to experience a costume for the first time. Like when you say you're gonna dress up as cotton candy, Andrea, you're like, "Oh, okay, cotton candy," but then not till you see the costume, you're like, "Oh, okay, get it." So I think part of it is less about the competition, but more about the element of surprise at the end.
Yeah, I agree with what you all said. I think making sure that you don't feel like stifled from like, oh, I can't make it. I think it's interesting to really rethink what it is you're going to create. Like Andrea had said about, being able to kind of think outside of the box when you're creating your costume. I think it's the same thing. Like, I think everybody chimed in as far as like Melissa, Karen, Michael, about reusing, creating from what you can find from home to going to thrift stores and finding your items. And I think what Rebecca said, it's also like when you sharing with folks that are going to maybe not, I think the thing is to inspire you and push you to say, yeah. I think the cool thing is checking in with folks that are also on that same wavelength, where like maybe you're having issues with some part of your costume and you can ask them, hey, what do you think? And then you can brainstorm and say, you could add this and that, and that way it'll look the way you want it to look. I think that always is helpful. But I think overall, I think the fun part about dressing up and creating your own thing, it's mainly just for yourself, kind of enjoying and feeling good after the end. I think the added part, of course, is if folks know what you dressed up as, or like can reference something, or they look at you and you're like, you're cotton candy, then it kind of makes you feel good, like, oh my god, I got it. And so I feel, and even if you didn't get it, I think as long as you feel like happy with what it is you created, I think that's the fun part about Halloween, right? It's kind of being something you're not for that day. So stay creative.
Stay creative. Yes. Thank you. I haven't started my costume yet, but I have an idea. So just talking today with everybody, I'm going to be focusing and getting out my costume this weekend. I have more motivation. So, okay, I'll let you know if I get stuck on creating part of it. So, but yeah, thank you all. Do y'all have any last thank yous or before we say bye for today?
Just vote for your favorite on Instagram. We're gonna be having our 3rd annual costume contest. Please vote once for your favorite costume and tell your friends to vote for us. Vote for me. That's it.
Vote for me. And then vote in the November, 3rd? Yes. Vote twice.
Yes.
Like vote, vote for our Halloween thing and then vote in November.
Voting with us and then you vote for real.
Yeah, vote for real.
Thank you again for joining us. Please remember to subscribe to our podcast and follow Tia Chuchas on social media. Please support our online bookstore. You can find the links in our podcast bio. Stay safe, stay creative. Tiahui.